Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another online match where your Bruton Parker Lady Barons will be going up against the SCAD Bees. This is your host, Rains Michael. Last time, our guest speaker, Lucas, did an absolutely fantastic job hosting the online match between the Bruton Parker Lady Barons and University of South Carolina, Berkeley. We'll be going over that past game just really quick. And after that, we'll be going over our starting lineups. Just kind of getting from that recap. Pretty tight for the first half that the Barons went with. Neither team actually being able to gain a goal. While the Sand Sharks had a 6-4 lead in shot attempts, the Barons outdid the Sand Sharks twofold for shots on goal. However, the second half's a little different. The Sand Sharks scored in the 53rd minute of the game and took advantage of that momentum, scoring another goal within the 60th minute. Going back to the Bruton Parker side of everything, your shot leaders for them were Chloe Bailey, having 2 shots on the frame, actually. Some of your other leaders include Cameron Lasser, Yesenia Zamudio, and Megan Parker. Cameron Lasser having 2 shots, while Yesenia and Megan Parker having 1 each. We'll go over a little bit of Bruton Parker match history against SCAD. So far, we're 50-50 against them. Our first game having lost 3-0 against them in 2019. However, in 2021, things are looking really good for us, having won 3-2. However, this game is going to be looking a little difficult, as SCAD is now ranked number 12 in the country, having so far won 7 games out of their season so far. Particularly last game, when they went up against Middle Georgia, they won their game 4-0. Their scorers being Sydney Chara, Abigail Siddle, and Jewel Steidenbach. We'll go over our starting lineups while the players circle around the midfield. First for the Bees, we have Zoe Goodall. Number 2, Haley Ladner. Number 4, Berglund Berdusdottir. Number 6, Sam Wong. Number 10, Abigail Siddle. Number 11, Lane Liberman. Number 17, Noelle Thompson. Number 18, Ines Thompson. Number 23, Jewel Steidenbach. Number 14, Sydney Chura. And number 27, Ida Atkinson. Looks like Diana was the one to throw that one in right there as the ball rolled out. SCAD throws it back in. Bees on the attack right now, crossing through the Barons defense. Now in the penalty area, we'll go over the Barons starting lineup now. Number 00, Kelsey Stapler. Number 2, Cameron Laster. Number 4, Bailey Brandley. Number 7, Yesenia Zamundio. Number 8, Megan Parker. Number 9, Caitlin Ladder. Number 11, Chloe Bailey. Number 12, Diana Chaco. Number 18, Laura Bernal. Number 21, Kennedy Fisher. No, number 22, my bad, Courtney Powers. And number 25, Amy Sugastume. Ball flies back up in the air. Diana's in on that again. Correct, Megan Parker leads it out. SCAD's back on the attack until the Barons take back control with Chloe Bailey. Continues dribbling it on forward. As that happens, SCAD takes back control with Yesenia attempting to accept the pass. However, now it looks like the Bees are able to break through the midfield. Back on the Barons defense now. And that'll be a foul on number 7 for the Barons, Yesenia Zamudio. Going for the free kick is number 4, Miss Balder's daughter. Takes a shot on that. It's not successful. Stapler volleys it on up, crossing the midfield. Braley Brandley goes after it. As that happens, Miss Ladner throws it in, takes it on to Bernal. Back outside, Miss Wong brings it over to number 17, Noelle Thompson, to throw it back in. Zamudio a little bit with the header there. Bernal able to bring it on past Sagastume. I'm correct, that should be a foul on Amy Sagastume. Number 4 once again going on that free kick. Miss Boulder's daughter. Gets ready. Sends it over. Laster able to keep it inside the pitch. Bees have brought it to the corner. 18 Bernal kind of sidesteps in with that. Crossed over. Brought on back. Looks like Zamudio was trying to hug one of the bees right there. Trying to grapple her. That'll be a foul on Zamudio. I'm correct on that. Free kick will be number 18, Miss Ina Sommer. Along with 18 on the ball, we also have number 4, once again, Miss Boulder's daughter. '18 sends it off for the Bees. As that happens, the Barons defense is able to bring it outside the pitch once again. Bees get ready to throw it in the Barons defense. They back it up for a minute. 27 charges forward, passing it on the 7 on the Bees. As that happened, Powers is able to volley it on up outside the penalty area. As number 17 on SCAD gets ready to throw it in, Miss Thompson. Attempting to send it over to Sagastume. Powers charges forward with it. Kelsey Stapler, though, able to cradle the ball like a baby. Volleys it up. Header from number 27 on SCAD leads it over to Ladner. Back over to Zamudio. Ladner having to bring it back up to their defense. On to the Barons' end with Sagastume. Powers able to send it over to Diana. Bernal able to send it outside of Bees' possession for just a little bit. Now Bees are back on the attack. 18 dribbling on forward. Diana able to send it back up closer to the midfield again, but still the Bees have penetrated the Barons' defense. Stapler back up, getting ready to scout out the pitch. Volleys it on up. Header from 27. Once again puts it back in B's possession. They've already crossed mid. Ladner takes control for a brief moment as she brings it out. Back in SCAD's possession. Ladner's with it, sent over to Zamudio. On over to Bailey. Goes forward, Barron's on the attack now with number 4, Miss Brandley. Brings it over to the penalty area, able to penetrate SCAD defense. Barron's with that corner kick. I'm correct. That was with number 9, Miss Ladner. Ladner having to dribble it from behind the goal. Looks like she's going for another corner kick on the far side of the camera. Gets ready. Sends it on over. Crashes against the side of the goal. Back in B's control. Goodall sends it on forward. Barons are able to take control of it in the midfield. Laster able to keep it in Barron possession. Back over to her, having to back up to the Barron defense with Sagastume. Sent over to Stapler. Stapler is able to bring it back over to mid.
No, I started running through my head.
Savannah attempting to throw it in. As that happens, Barons are able to take back control with Diana Chaco being able to throw in. Bees are back on the attack. Laster comes up, moves on forward. The Bees attempt to shoot. Goes wide though. Stapler sends it on up. Back over to Bailey. Laster's back on it. Bees now back in possession. And with that, the SCAD Bees are the first to score with number 10, Abigail Siddle, able to get a goal. As the ball is brought back to the center point. If I'm correct. Miss Bernal, I believe, is on that center point for the Barons. And thank goodness to us here at the tower, the sun has finally settled behind the trees. Courtney Powers able to arc it right back up. Barons have penetrated B defense. Bailey having sent it on over to the goal. Unfortunately, shot goes wide for her. Thought for a second that ball might be going on to the dark forest of Mount Vernon. However, that's not the case. Looks like the Bees goalie was able to collect it up before then. Sent back over to midfield. Barons are able still keeping it in the Bees defense. However, 27 has taken back possession for the Bees. As that happens, number 4, Miss Brandley, moves it on forward. Laster attempting to sidestep it. Taking the ball. Powers is back in on it. If I'm correct, that was Miss Diana able to kind of jump and catch it with the arc of her foot. Now Barons will be taking up a free kick. Looks like number 4, if I'm correct, Miss Balder's daughter, took that foul for the SCAD Bees. Now Sagastume will be going on this free kick. Sends it on forward, brought over to Miss Powers. Powers moves up to the midfield, on over to number 11, Miss Bailey. Bees have taken back control, but only for a brief moment. Bailey's back in charge in the midfield. As that happens, Parker Bernal and Miss Brandley get ready for the attack. However, now it looks like Bees are throwing it back in after ball rolls outside the pitch. Bees are back on the attack with number 6 taking control for that right there. Now, number 4, Miss Brandley, was able to take back control for the Barons. My bad, not number 4, number 9. Stapler takes back control, able to volley it on up. Stagasume able to take it on. Brought over to Laster. Sent over to Bailey. Bailey charges up the midfield, attempting to dribble it against 27. Bees are back in control. 18 on the Bees in possession, Miss Sommer. Taking over the number 10. 10 shoots, it goes wide. Missed call from the tower. Offsides. Stapler able to send it back over to Powers. Diana and her crossing it back and forth. Bees are still flying on forward on the attack already, once again penetrating through the Baron defense. As that happens, Bernal comes forward, back over to Miss Brandley. Bees take charge in the midfield. Bernal and Bailey able to bounce it between each other. Back over to Diana. Megan Parker takes over. She's on the attack. Now with that, Bees have once again taken back for a brief moment. Barron's prepared to set up with Bernal. And once again, number 9, Miss Ladner. Ladner charges it back, sends it over to Brandley. Brandley almost able to cross over to the penalty area. Ladner gets ready, crosses it on. Sent over to the keeper. Barons get ready once again to take this on. Zamudio attempting to go at it with a header, ends up bouncing on over to Sagastume. Diana able to send it on over to Miss Bailey. Barons backing up in their defense in a little bit of a retreat right here. Megan Parker getting just about as close as she can to the thrower. Bees are back in to the Barons defense. Diana attempts to battle it out. Let's see if she's able to get possession of it. Sent flying back over. Coming up through the back right now is this Brandley. However, Bees are able to still penetrate the Baron defense. Bailey's back on it. Diana chases after it. Right in the outside corner of the penalty area. Bailey dribbles it on forward. Crosses the midfield with that. Megan Parker attempts to intercept that. Zamudio, I'm going to call that a bit of an accidental header. Rolls on forward. Ladner able to send it over to Brandley. However, 17 intercepts that for the Bees. Back in the Barons' end. On flying. If I'm correct, that would have been a shot from number 11. Miss Emily Miller. Stapler able to catch that. Volleys it back up. Arcs on over a couple yards past the center point. And SCAD Bees once again are on the attack. Stapler having to slide on in a little bit. Almost able to get the save, but still able to bounce it off her. Crosses up the midfield. Bernal attempts to get that. Bernal and Last are able to both go against number 4 on the Bees. Bees still back in the end. Now SCAD will be throwing it back in. Bees attempt to shoot right on the far side of the penalty area. Stapler once again getting ready to scout out the pitch. Keeps it over in the Barons' end. As 18 sends it on over to the penalty area for the Barons. And with that, that is another point for SCAD. On that goal was number 10 for SCAD. Pulling up that name again, Miss Abigail Siddle. Along with an assist from number 18, Miss Sommer. Sent on back to center point. Sagastume able to bring it back to Powers. As 17 and 10 both come forward, going a little past the midfield. Barons this time able to penetrate a bit of their defense, Bernal in particular. Bees are back on the attack. Ladner with a foul. Free kick on number 18 leading that. Barron's able to keep it outside the penalty area though. As that happens, Bernal keeps on moving forward. SCAD able to take it back, attacking once again. Stapler once again able to cradle the ball with a save. Stapler gets ready. Brings it on back. Little past the midfield. Attempting to send it on over. As that happens, Brandley comes after it. Diana backs her up. However, Bees are once again able to go on the attack. Charging back forward, Sagastume keeps it flying as it rolls back outside behind the far side of the pitch. Stapler's back with it. As it's brought to midfield. SCAD still able to be on the attack. Powers comes at it with a header though. Zamudio chases after it along with Diana Chaco. Thrown back in from the Bees. Barron's able to lead it a little further outside their penalty area. Miss Brandley attempting to accept it to guide it out of midfield. However, with that, SCAD is once again able to go on the attack. That was an offsides from SCAD right there. Sent on back. Powers takes it over. Bailey's with it now. Goes on up and flying. Megan Parker attempts to accept that. However, SCAD is able to bring it back to the halfway line. Not until Laster, however, is able to take it back over. Bailey's with it now. Barons are preparing to make their attack. Sending it back over to Megan Parker. Attempting to keep it outside of B's possession. Now SCAD is able to form their attack. Diana chases after the ball. Prepares to throw it back in. On over the Powers. Diana once again scouting out her Barons. Sees that Powers is free, able to send it back over to Sagastume. Stume gets ready. Brings it over to Bailey. Bailey charges on forward. Nothing's called on that, though. A little bit of an upset from the audience.
He just Heisman'd her. I mean,
SCAD still continues to make their attack. Brings it inside the penalty area, penetrating the Barons' defense. Time has stopped. Looks like there's a potential injury on the field. We'll be right back. And with that, we're back to the game. Sends it on up. Megan Parker's back in control of the ball for the Barons. However, the Bees are able to once again make their attack, crossing over the midfield. Shooting from there, hitting the crossbar is number 4, Miss Boulder's daughter. I'm a little biased, but I even got to give credit to that.
I'll rate the effort. That was nearly.
Back over to the Bees end. As that continues forward, one of our current substitutions, Miss Benitez Marquez, has stepped in. Back over to the Barons end of the field. Stapler's back with it. Rolls it on over to Diana. And sends it to Powers. As that happens, 10 attempts a little bit of a jump kick to try and take control. 18 is able to have the ball cross on the corner of the penalty area as it's brought back outside. Number 4 should be on that corner kick, Miss Boulder's daughter. They charge on forward. Getting ready once again. Throwing it in is 18, Miss Sommer. Diana attempting to bring it over back to Powers. As that goes on, Sagastume takes it over. Diana throwing it on back in. Having it arc to Sagastume. As that happens, Marquez charges against number 27. A shot from the Bees goes wide. Kelsey Stapler attempting to roll to save it. Stapler attempting to bring it on over to number 15, I believe, Miss Julissa Sanchez. Has it intercepted by the Bees. Looks like we'll be having a bit of a break. We'll be right back. Thrown back in. SCAD sends it on, pass it on to 11. As Barons huddle around the Bees, bringing it over to Miss Brandley. Foul on SCAD right there. Number 27, Miss Ida Atkinson. On this free kick right here, if I'm correct, Miss Courtney Powers. Powers sending it on over to Diana. Brings it on up, attempting to potentially pass it over to Marquez. As that happens, Megan Parker charges over, attempting to kick the ball. As that happens, Venegas takes it on. Foul on the Barons. Leads to number 17, Miss Thompson, with his kick. Brings it up and over, past the Barons end, onto their penalty area. Miss Brandley's able to take it over for a brief moment. As Chaco attempts to enter it to the midfield, able to pass it on over across the halfway line. Bees are back in possession. Marquez attempts to chase on after it. However, SCAD still stays in control. Bernal attempting to step on in. Along with Venegas, Diana's able to take over. SCAD, however, still the Barons area. Megan Parker attempting to take control, however, she's able to bounce it off another B, able to send it over to Zamudio. Now over to Brandley. Brandley continues to move it forward, passes it on, attempting to reach Marquez. Marquez taking it on with the side of her foot. As that happens, Megan Parker and Bernal charge forward. Marquez able to bring it back to Bernal. SCAD's back in control. Venegas attempting to bring it outside of their possession. Marquez still on the heels of 28, along with Zamudio's now back in on it. Keeps it inside the pitch with just a tad bit of a heel touch. SCAD, however, able to break the Barons' defense. On the camera side of the penalty area, back end. As Bernal sends it outside the pitch. Out of bounds again. As that happens, Barons are now making some substitutions. Mackenzie Tucker stepping in for Miss Brandley. Along with that, number 3, Veda Kosip, steps in for number 7, Zamudio. Bernal Venegas keeps it out. As they throw it back in, number 15, Miss Sanchez, brings it on over to the midfield, attempting to Parker, challenging 27. As that happens, Miss Tucker over on the far side of the camera, helping to reinforce the defense on the attacking end. Parker's back in on it. With that, Miss Kossup is also, my bad. Keeps it in Barron's possession as well. At the moment now, Bees are still inside of the Barons' defense. Barons, however, with Courtney Powers, are able to keep it outside of the penalty area. Stapler now takes charge. Audience cheers are on with some Nemo seagull noises. And with that as well, breaking ankles with Megan Parker. Attempting to pass it on over to Bernal.
Megan, that was uncalled for.
Tower is excited from that. You can hear our cameraman going wild from it. As this happens, number 13, Miss Averill Diaz, steps in for number 18, Miss Bernal. Venegas able to send it back over to Parker. Probably breaking more ankles in the process. That was that. Miss Kossup attempts to take charge. Number 18, however, is back in possession for Savannah. Barron's now on the defensive. Kossup is challenging 18, though. Takes back possession. Barron still in the retreat. Kossup still challenging. As that happens, number 16, Miss Hernandez, my bad. I just totally misread that. Back outside of the Barons penalty area. Savannah, however, is still able to keep it inside our defense. Averill Diaz trying to follow the ball. Kelsey Stapler with the save. Once again, you'll hear cheers from the audience from the microphone. Stapler sending it right on the center line. However, 11 on the Bees, sends it right back. Brought back over. Looks like Miss Tucker trying to follow that, if I'm correct. As that happens, Parker once again breaking ankles, circling around the Bees. Barron's attempt to shoot. Save from the Bees, number 0, Zoe Goodall. You can still hear the ruckus from the stands from that one. With with that. Number 10 on the V shoots, Miss Siddle. And it goes wide. With that, number 18 for the Bees. Miss Somers on the corner. Sends it on up. Barron's taking on. If I'm correct, I think we just saw a header from number 24 on that one. Actually, no, my bad. I believe that would have still been from 26, Miss Ashley Venegas. Venegas is back with it. Still trying to prevent a B attack. As that happens, Kelsey Stapler gets another save against the Bees. On that shot was number 12, Miss Emily Miller. Brought on forward back to the Barons. Number 30 is the main lead charging of this attack, Miss Mackenzie Tucker. Diaz chases down number 27 as the Bees are once again inside the Barons defensive end. Number 24, Miss Victoria Jimenez, able to send it outside that penalty area once again. SCAD getting ready to throw it in with number 6. Sveta Kosep along with Miss Venegas right on the front of that. As that goes down, Miss Marquise attempting to reinforce the defense. Venegas on that back end, along with Averill Diaz charging. Stapler sending it on up. He's still being on this attack. Miss Kosep. Looks like it's a foul on the Bees. On this kick, if I'm correct, from this distance, looks like number 24 is on that, Miss Jimenez. Barron still attempting to keep it in the midfield. Looks like the Bees, however, are able to cross the halfway line. 10 leading this charge for the Bees. Stapler sending it on back. Foul on the Barons, though. Number 18, looks like, if I'm correct, will be on this free kick. Sent over, however, Barron's able to wall it off. Wonderful block by our Barons. Kelsey Stapler's back with it in this final minute and a half. Stapler bringing it on over to number 16, Ms. Hernandez. Bees are back in control. Kind of this rollover by 7. We'll check how the ref calls that. Now on this kick, number 18 once again gets ready. Audience attempts to cause a distraction within this last 30 seconds. It's successful. And with that is our final few seconds. And on that last little bit, Stapler's able to send it over to midfield. And we will be heading over to halftime. We'll see you in about 15 minutes. And we're back in the fray now. Currently your score is 2-0 in favor of the Bees. However, Barons are now back on this attack. Leading it is number 4, Bailey Brandley. With that, looks like number 8, Megan Parker's going for this corner kick. It's ready. Sends it on over. As that happens, Diana comes after it. Barons still having crossed over, having penetrated the Bees' defense, planning on staying there as long as possible till they get that goal. With that, that'll be a foul. Against SCAD right there. They're number 12, Miss Emily Miller. On that, Miss Ladner will be going on this free kick right here. Sends it up. Saved by their goalie, Miss Zoe Goodall. Barons looking up to amp up this aggression in the second half. With that, Sagastume and Zamudio keep it inside the midfield. Diana's back in on it. Sent it over to Bernal. However, the Bees have taken back control. With that, Brandley attempts to charge after number 23 as she's able to pass it over the 10 on the Bees. Continuing on forward, Miss Ladner brings it across the midfield. Now Bees are back to throw it in. Laster able to take it outside of Bees' possession. Barons begin the charge on forward. As that continues on. Attempting to bring it over to our forwards. Barron still on that attack. Zamudio chasing after 18, having brought it back to Sagastume. Ladner's in on it. Bernal able to send it over to Diana Chaco. Teamwork with that. With that, if I'm correct, foul on number 12 for the Bees. Barron still in possession with Zamudio. Ladner having to kind of arc on back as we get ready, as the Bees get ready to throw it back on in. They kind of roll it on forward, but Barons are able to kind of keep it right in that bridge of each way between the halfway line. Still on the far side of that halfway line from the camera. 12 is back in control. Brandley going after it along with Powers. Sends it over to number 30, Miss Tucker. And with that, Ladner dribbles it on forward, crosses over the halfway line from the midfield, brought over back to the halfway line. Diana's back on it now, number 12, Miss Chaco. 23 is taken over for Savannah. She's on the attack, begins dribbling on forward, crosses the midfield, able to bring it over to the Barons' defensive end. Header from Miss Parker. Bees are back in possession. Barons certainly are experiencing a lot more aggression for the second half of the game. Bees prepare to throw it back in. Headers from multiple Barons. Now coming into that center circle. Bees are back on the attack, led by number 23. However, Sagastume is able to bring it outside of those boundaries. Twelve will be throwing it in for SCAD. Takes it on. Zamudio brings it over to Courtney Powers. 18 comes after it, but not before Miss Mackenzie Tucker is able to attempt to intercept that. Back in Beast possession now. 12 is back in control. Breaking through the Barons defense. With that, hits that corner bar of the goal.
Game's 71st throw-in.
Arcs back over.
Bro, that is an army of substitutions.
Stapler gets ready. Flies it on up over to Zamudio. Back in B's possession. And with that, Miss Tucker is able to bring it on over. If I'm correct, Miss Ladner. A little bit far away. Actually, self-correction, believe that was Miss Megan Parker. Bees once again able to cross the halfway line. Back over the Baron possession. Ladner kind of keeping it right outside that pitch. Chaco gets ready. Doing some fancy footwork herself, however, Bees are still able to intercept that. Zamudio comes on forward.
One of 20 will come
Sent on back. Parker charges after that with number 11. In competition with her. Savannah's broken through the Barons' defense. They attempt to shoot. However, we got another save from Miss Stapler. The men's soccer team clap for her. Sending it over to Miss Tucker. Parker comes attempting to assist her. Looks like with that, Savannah has been able to break through the Barons' defense once again. And with that, we'll be focusing on Baron substitutions right now. If I'm correct, Miss number 23, Miss Benitez Marquez, steps on in. Courtney Powers retreating by sending the ball back over to Stapler. There's one B within that penalty area. However, the Barons are able to take back possession of it. That with Ladner. Brought over to Brandley. Brandley able to stay in control of it for a brief moment. However, in the midfield, Bees are able to take it back. Now crossing over to the Baron defense. Barron's able to send it outside the penalty area with Zamudio. As that happened, Parker locks eyes with the ball, as does Diana Chaco. Art's backing up. That is just far away.
Wind is killer tonight. Bro, the wind is killer tonight, you know? Put it 30 yards wide left. No, she was trying to hit the corner flag.
With that, Stapler is able to bring it over to Brandley in the midfield, able to cross that halfway line. Bees are back in possession, but they're having to face off against Megan Parker and Brandley, along with number 15 on that, Miss Sanchez, as well. Bernal takes charge, crosses over the midfield. Marquez gets ready, able to bring it over to the penalty area. Along with that, Bernal attempts to intercept it. Back in SCAD control. Powers chases after it along with Sagastume. Powers able to send it on over to Diana. Chaco's back in control. 7 on SCAD attempts to challenge Powers. However, Powers is still able to send it to Ladner. A little bit of a trip up right there. Throw in from SCAD. Leads to Ladner taking it over for a bit. Bernal attempts to dive on in for a moment. Diana Chaco, number 12, is still able to take control. Marquez is back with it. Trips up on it. Powers and Zamudio able to bring it over to Diana Chaco once again, crossing the midfield, attempting to send it over to Marquez. Marquez attempts to go for it. Brought back over to 12. Zamudio able to retreat it back to Diana. Diana taking control once again. Sugasume attempts to slide in to prevent that. However, that's another goal for SCAD. The score ended up coming from number 10 on SCAD. With that, Megan Parker kicks it off the center point. And with that, Miss Brandley charges on forward. 23 attempts to catch up with her. She shoots, but Goodall's able to save it for the Bees. Lucky save on their end. Megan Parker takes it over. Refs make that controversial call right there, letting SCAD throw it back in. You could hear the Barons' reaction to that from the audience. Zamudio sending it back over to Diana. With this potential attack the Barons are setting up, that call may not have mattered as the Barons are bringing it back to the midfield. Now SCAD has taken back control, penetrating the defense once again, and another save by Stapler. Brought over the Brandley. Sanchez attempts to take control. Bees are still back on the attack now.
You know what? Deal. That makes my life easier.
Sent over back to Chaco.
Believe it or not, it makes my life easier.
Bernal retreats it back to her. With Zamudio open, actually rolls back on over to Sanchez. Barron successfully able to cross the halfway line, now in the midfield. Now Bees getting ready to throw it back in. Arcs on up. Diana attempts to take back control. A 7 charges forward on the Bees. Courtney Powers, while not touching it, is able to guide it outside of the boundaries of the pitch.
Words about every time.
You're okay.
Yeah.
You just added more instead of saying.
Gotta have a bit of vocabulary.
And on it. Another save by Stapler. Barron still chanting her on. Cannons it on up. Brandley right on the toes, still leading that attack. Zamudio aiding him in the midfield. Levin's back in possession. Courtney Powers attempting to intercept that. However, Chaco ends up taking the lead. Sagastume with that header.
A little late, perhaps.
Bees are still on this attack. Stapler able to scoop the ball on up. Back in the Barron defense now. Megan Parker crosses the halfway line on to Zamudio. Sending it back to Diana Chaco.
Get her some Gatorade. Oh, she actually was. She needs some Gatorade, right?
Looks like there's
We gotta get her on the treadmill. Get her some cardio.
So for SCAD, 6 for 18. I don't know
a little bit of sickness on the field from SCAD.
6 for 18 for SCAD, and then for BPC.
Oh, that's horrifying. Yeah, what's his name gonna put?
Having to clean that up a bit.
Appreciate it. I've seen that happen way too many times in wrestling where I've said to many people, I'm not wrestling on that mat. I'm not doing it. I refuse. I don't care if you spray it with anything. I'm not doing it. I'm not. Got me bent. 5 for 20. Gonna get COVID-23 doing that.
Goodall gets ready to send it off. Back over to Diana. Launches it over to Bernal.
I've always made the claim I need to be able to wrestle 20 minutes as hard as I can.
SCAD, however, still on this attack. Sends it on in.
Can we get a repeat of the substitution? No, I'm just trying to be annoying. You already do that. Good. I would say it to Lana. She's like, you're being annoying. I'm like, I know, I tried. She's like, no, you should do it naturally. I'm like, exactly.
Bees get ready to throw it on in.
Short girl, brown girl? No.
Zumudio's up with it.
Last semester she transferred.
Brings it on up to Powers. Diana chasing after it, Miss Jocko.
Hang on.
Gets ready, sends it on over to Bernal. However, Parker is able to take it on.
I'm not saying this is the mic's live.
With that, Miss Sanchez able to pass it on over to Miss Diaz. Going from one way to the midfield to the other, and now Barons are back near the halfway line. On over to number 24 that time, Miss Jimenez. SCAD gets back on this attack. Diana having to duke her out right there. On with number 23, Miss Marquise. Circling around 16. Doing it again. This time to 23. Helping distract 23 was number 18, Miss Bernal. Barons throw it in. Gonna look at that a little bit closer of that number. If I'm right, number 29, Olivia Kaysen with that. Brought on back, sent to Ladner. Kosip goes in for it. Trying to twist kick that was Miss Bernal. SCAD is still on this attack, though. Keeping it in the back until Avril Diaz comes in for the reinforcement. Sanchez comes in, taking that up now, if I'm correct. Was number 4, Miss Bradley, but I won't be too sure on that. Sanchez moving on forward through the midfield.
Water break.
And that'll be a water break.
Water break.
We'll see y'all in a minute.
What do you think I'm saying?
Back to the action now after that water break.
We're gonna have a nasty little midfield, mid-weights group if everybody is like healthy and eligible. We're gonna be nasty for mid-weights. I know I paid for this year.
SCAD sends it back off. Stapler attempting to go for it. However, looks like Miss Olivia Kaysen able to come in it with that block. Takes it on forward as well.
Thank you, Olivia.
Along with that, number 27, Miss Rodriguez, is able to send it over to Miss Marquez. We'll see how the ref calls that.
Well done, Olivia. Well done.
Barron's ball.
Oh, and that's a yellow jacket. Hi.
Kosip attempts to go for it. SCAD sends it back over the halfway line.
Hey, watch out for that yellow jacket, yo.
With that, Jimenez attempts to challenge one of the Bs as well.
Okay. Hope it stings you now, right in the middle of your forehead.
Speaking of things with stingers, we currently have a yellow jacket in the tower. Out of bounds.
No, but last year, this year, I got some big. I think we'll be.
Out of bounds once again.
No, if we don't, I'm in the transfer portal. Just know that we should murder. Oh, little chippiness. Yeah. But I'm just saying. I genuinely think so. I think he's 13 dual meets this year. I think we should.
On this kick will be
If I'm gonna say
number 16, it looks like. Miss Mia Nelson on the Bs.
this year, I don't think we're beating Cumberland. Maybe next year, but I don't think we're ready yet. Like there's some that I just think we're gonna lose.
Men's team in the audience
Five to 8 wins.
making a beautiful sound in the audience. Hopefully for the Barons this will cause a distraction. Sounding like a THX sound from an early Pixar film. Sends it up and save from Miss Stapler. Speaking of another Pixar film, we got a round of seagulls as well. Back over to Marquez. Sent over to Laster with that header. Bees attempt a header as well. As Kaysen and Powers take over the ball for the Barons in the midfield. Powers challenges 7, along with number 24, Miss Jimenez. Bees have thrown it in, and it's back outside of bounds again. Potential injury on the field. We'll be right back. And with that, Barons will have their own substitutions. Number 26, Ashley Venegas, will be stepping in for Caitlin Ladner. And if I heard that correctly, number 16, Jasmine Hernandez will be stepping in for number 22, Courtney Powers. Good night. That took me a while to get that name somehow. SCAD gets ready for this kick. Radio's going off now. Don't know if you can hear that in the background. Brought back up.
I'd have to fight you if you kept doing it. No, like on her end. Like if you and me were the opposite end.
Well, that foul number 13 for BPC. Miss Avril Diaz. On this kick now for the Bees should be number 16 on the Bees. 16 goes for that shot. Miss Mia Nelson. It ends up being wide. Stapler bringing it on over the Kaysen from the goal. As that happens, Kosip attempts to bring it outside of their defense end. However, Savannah takes back control and is able to shoot. Ends up going wide. Stapler gets ready again. Launches it on over, attempting to bring it over to Marquez. 23, however, is able to take control for SCAD with that. Barons, however, able to bring it to the midfield for a brief moment. And out of bounds. on that with a corner kick from SCAD. Men's team in the audience once again making that THX Pixar noise.
He's like me, so unassuming.
Stapler sends it on over, I believe attempting to bring it over to Sanchez. Bees once again have brought it past Barron's defense, but with Stapler back in on it, Olivia Kaysen challenges 7 with that. On over to Miss Kosip. Brings it to the midfield. Avril Diaz chases after it. Laster. Barron's officially on this attack now. Brought back over to Kosip and Miss Kaysen.
Yo, you may win the game, but you will not win against our home atmosphere.
Diaz takes back control. If I'm correct, she was able to stem that between one of the Bees' legs.
Say between the bees' knees. Oh, that breeze is gorgeous.
Brought over, you can hear a bit of a breeze in the microphone now. Barron's may be down 3 goals, but I think God is blessing this atmosphere that our team is creating in the audience.
We got even our camera shaking a little bit. Hang on. Yeah. I saw that, Clayton.
22 for 7.
SCAD getting ready to throw it back in.
You're fired.
As that goes down, Miss Jimenez, I believe, just got that header from a bit.
Yeah, SCAD had us up.
Tisk tisk. Just entirely missed the whole human walking by her. Missed the whole human in a uniform walking by her to the pitch.
Sent it.
We know. We know.
As SCAD throws it in multiple times, you can hear a bit of banter in the tower as looks like someone missed a sub from the radio. Here we go with yet another throw-in in this game on the far side of the camera.
You got Hawks and the greatest commentator this side of Mississippi. And rain. Oh, the piss. Get there.
SCAD sends it back on over to the penalty area.
Do they do that every game?
Avril Diaz chases after that, on over to Kosip. With that, Kaysen's back with on it. On over to the 27, Miss Rodriguez. Ladner goes for it. And with that, Marquez chases after that. Crosses outside the pitch. However, making it through the penalty area.
I would, yeah, I'd like that. Just straight broomstick, lower the shoulder on the girl's chest. That's all I want. Just one. Like a running back through a 3-hole.
Looks like Miss Marquez, my bad. We're going in for this corner kick. Brings it on back. Barron's all charging forward.
Come on.
And I can't even tell you who was actually able to get on that goal. An actual barrage of Barron's. Sending it on forward. I officially said it, Clayton. Yep. Towers deciding who we record on that goal. That was incredible. Just a group, a pure team effort on that end.
Just 7 feet hitting the ball at one time. Just screw it. Get it in the right direction.
Like, completely insane. We'll see. Goal for numbers 1 through infinity on the Barons. That's how we'll name that right now. Back on the center point.
That is the epitome of group offense. That is the epitome of team offense. About 9 people touch the ball in 3 seconds. Keep the pressure on, ladies.
Back on the center point. Something just thrown outside of the pitch. Not
Step on her Apple Watch.
Not sure quite what that was. Towers calling it the Apple Watch. That is, it's a watch. SCAD attempts to cross back. Taking it through the halfway line. Stapler's back with it. The Seagulls once again are chanting for the Lady Barons. Brought on back. Header from SCAD. Potential miscalled by the ref. With that, I believe Miss Hernandez takes it on. What'd I do?
I don't know what just happened. The ball's in the back of the net.
Averill Diaz still battling out with it. Sanchez takes it on. Still on the far side of the pitch. There goes the THX noise from the audience.
My high school for every kickoff would say something similar. It's amazing.
Brought on up. Laster takes it back onto Rodriguez. Sent over to Marquise. SCAD still attempting to charge on forward. Back over to Kosip. With that, Hernandez is on the defensive to the Barons penalty area.
Yo, I'm quick with it.
Brought over to Marquez. Sent over to Rodriguez. Kaysen takes it back in control. Bees just kind of bounce it off each other, kind of accidentally. Able to keep it in the midfield. 6.5 minutes now left remaining in this half. Diaz coming up forward, back over to Kaysen. Foul on SCAD.
I got a pack tonight, which means I'll be up till like 2 a.m. Thank God I don't have to leave until like 1.
SCAD's with it.
So I'm just going to sleep until then, until Naomi take me out.
On to Rodriguez.
Yep.
Marquez retreats it back over the Kaysen.
Someone get the truck back in blood from earlier. Lay off! Okay, Kaysen.
Kaysen brings it on forward. While SCAD is back in possession.
You can tell Kaysen's out of gas because she's not done a lot because she was hurt. She's coming off injury. Oh, dear, Jesus.
Crossbar from SCAD.
They're trying to get a highlight reel at some point in this game.
A little bit of attempted step in from Rodriguez. Leads to Kosa bringing it on over to Marquez. Now a throw in from SCAD. It's number 23.
He's making y'all's earn your wages.
Still over here on defense. SCAD is able to have another goal. Megan Parker on the center point now. Thrown back in from SCAD. And that'll be a foul on the Barons. Going on this kick, though, is number 16 for SCAD. We got another THX Pixar sound from the audience in the back. And that leads to another save from Stapler. Once again, speaking of Pixar noises, there go the Seagulls. On over the Brandley. Kaysen throws it on over to Marquise. Bit of a trip up there as number 12 on the Bees sends it on forward. Chasing after 22 is Vida Kosip. With that, Marquez sends it on forward. Looks like Brandley keeps on going for it. Having to go on this side, camera side of the pitch. Barons have penetrated the Bees' defense.
Get in the weight room, kid.
Silver encouragement from our men's soccer team in the audience. Savannah crossing the halfway line outside the midfield. 22 is taking control for them. Now less than 2 minutes left.
Appreciate it. About 40 seconds late, thanks. Don't worry. Maybe you'll get.
With that, little over a minute remaining now.
1 minute left to play.
Now exactly 1 minute as the Seagulls chant. Tucker sends it on. Brings it over to the far side of the camera.
Why did you say bless you? Shut up. I have turned off that.
And with that, out of bounds.
Foul 24. Got 30 seconds left. Come on.
No, you know what? I agree. Props mine.
And with that, I believe that was a foul on number 24 for the Bees.
Everybody leaves. Yeah,
She started a union. Barron Broadcasting, or Barron Broadcasters Commission, BPC.
Actually, my bad.
Actually, wait, no.
Barron's number 24. Misread that call. Miss Jimenez.
Barron's Band of Broadcasters.
On this kick was 16. Less than 20 seconds left.
Lower the shoulder.
Back outside, out of bounds.
10, 9, 8,
And with that,
7, 6, 5,
time is up
4, 3,
for
2, 1.
the Barons. 4-1. Rough game. Not going to lie on that. Hope to see you next weekend. Pulling it back up. Looks like the Barons will be facing off against Middle Georgia. Oh, my bad. Totally looked at the week after.
we play Dalton State in the SSAC game of the week
We'll play Dalton State in the SSAC game of the week
on Saturday at 1:30.
at 10:30. Thank you very much.
Yo, don't get at